Welcome back to Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are the Boys, your daily Texas Rangers podcast by a couple of pro wrestlers who love Rangers baseball. And hey, we want to thank you for making us the first listen of your day. Don't get down. The streak is broken, but I have some good news for you. Your Texas Rangers are still the defending World Series champion. Doesn't get old. This is your boy Kev, a.k.a. YBK, Kevin Frazier. We have a good show for you today. We're going to talk box scores. We're going to talk about Rangers make moves. And we're also going to talk about something historic that has to happen this year in order for a specific team to get out of bad team territory. So if you want to find me on social media, it's Kevin Lee Frazier. That's Frazier. If you want to find Texas Rangers with the Boys on social media, that is TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
Oh, one word.
There it is. And joining me, as always, my co-host. Wait, timeout. Also, don't forget to check us out right here and subscribe on the CTH network at Chilltown Hoops on YouTube. Didn't forget it today. Now, to my co-host, 300-pound manimal, a.k.a. Bull. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, doing pretty good. Got some matinee baseball in. Nothing like a day game. I love it. Those are my favorite days to go out. Most likely, unless it's like opening day, it's not going to be too terribly packed out there. Got a couple of all-you-can-eat seats for $30 a piece. And then what I like to do is go down there, get the food and drink, and then go find a seat not down there in that with all the people that are just there to eat. I feel like most of the time when you're down there, it's kind of packed with like company outings on days where it's a day game, like it's all like people that are like kind of there as a social gathering, not to watch the baseball. So we get our food, go back up the elevator, find us a nice spot out there and right center fieldish. But yeah, good time. The Bullman and I went out. Parking went up $10. That's cool. Yeah, parking went up $10. A little bit more to get that upgrade parking. I guess I'll have to live with it. We had a good time out at Globe Life. It's still exactly the same as I remember it last year. Not a lot's changed out there, which is probably a good thing. I think it's a pretty good place to watch a baseball game, and they had the roof closed because I guess imminent weather. They thought it might rain, but I don't think it did. We did get some drops on the way home, but a great day out at the ballpark. The Rangers didn't go as great as we would have liked, but I thought there were signs of good things. Andrew Heaney was like one pitch away from having a really nice start, but he left one up there in the fifth inning or fourth inning or something like that. But overall, a good game from Heaney. I thought that was his best start of the season by far. There were the runs, but overall, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Got to tell everybody to find me on social media so they can see all the pics and stuff. All the pic that I took of the game yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a picture taker at the ball yard. I don't keep score or anything like that. I'm not like a psycho either, I mean, just like to watch the game.
All the pick?
All the pick, yeah, if you want to see all the pick that I took yesterday. But anyway, Manimal Bull on the X, the Twitter, Manimal 300 on the Instagram, and both Facebook and TikTok. Bull Pro. So whatever your favorite platform is, get at me on there, and we'll start talking about the Rangers. If you're ready to panic, don't expect me to panic with you, because I realize that baseball is basically a game of staying 500 until you hit that stretch where you don't play 500 for a while, and hopefully that stretch is much better than the stretches that you go through where you play the other side of 500 for a little while. So anyway, I know baseball. I know that we live in a town where We get in front of each other because every football game means so much. But the Rangers, they're coming together. They've got a starting rotation that is not exactly what we were expecting it to be this year at all. So bear with us. Don't expect me to panic. If you're panicking, maybe come to me for some calm down. Maybe I'm like melatonin when you can't sleep. Just hit me up and I'll get you. The panic will be down. Maybe it'll be more like what's that, like PCP instead of melatonin. But whatever. We'll get the panic down one way or the other. But yeah, before we get started, Kev, you know what we got to do, right? You know what I got to do. You've been just like sitting there waiting for me to do it. Well, Friday, May 24th, Southside Preservation Hall. You've probably looked it up by now on your Google Maps. Come on out, check out Matt Ward Pro when they present Slam and Destroy 2. Last year at Slam and Destroy 1, I know I won. I know I won. I can't remember who I beat, but I won. I think it was Avon Axel or someone. I can't remember. But anyways, I won. Probably going to do it again on May 24th. I don't know about the winning part. It's not so much about winning and losing anymore for me. It's more about how you play the game. I'm more of a rule abider these days. So it's but anyways, back to Slam and Destroy 2. It's going to be a big time. Can't wait. Our friends from Big Dogs Hot Dogs and Kelly's Onion Burgers are going to be out there with hot dogs, hamburgers, bratwurst, French fries, all the good stuff, the smoked sausage, whatever you want. Come on out, get you some of that because it's delicious. Two of the best food trucks in all of DFW for sure. Come on out, get some of that. Get some Starry's ice cream in the back. Get you a Martin House brew to wash it all down with, and then sit on down in that front row for a front row seat to some of the best wrestling that you're going to see in Fort Worth this year. And that's Slam and Destroy 2 at the Southside Preservation Hall for Matt Ward Pro on Friday, May 24th. Bell time, 8-ish, 8 p.m.-ish. Yeah, man, like between 8 and 8:30 it'll probably start.
Well,
man, like it's not that big a deal. Just drink beer until it starts.
I'll tell you this. If you want to get some of the food from the food truck, the last time they ran out. So don't play around. Like get your food.
That one time we the first time we were there, Kelly's Onion Burger was out there by themselves. They had to go to the grocery store and get more ground beef like 3 times. They basically had to buy all the burger that they had over there at their University Kroger.
Yeah.
So we're not messing around over here when it comes to eating at these wrestling events because you got a couple 300 people that are hungry.
Yeah, and remember some of the wrestlers eat that food too, and there's some big dudes out there.
Yeah, I mean it takes a lot to feed a Brick Savage, an Angel Camacho, a Sam Stackhouse. I mean, these are big dudes. I mean, I'm a big dude. Those guys are big dudes. I'm a big dude. Those guys are big dudes.
Yeah, very big dudes. Hey, real quick, I don't think we mentioned our TikTok. Where can they find us on TikTok?
Oh, Texas Rangers with the boys.
All one word?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I just thought I'd, Anyway, hey, how about the real quick? This has nothing to do with Rangers or baseball, but obviously right now the NFL draft is going on live as we're doing this show. I feel like the Falcons just gave live. Yeah, the Falcons just stuck it to the Bears, who I think were wanting to pick Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, and they picked him right in front of the Bears. I think the Bears thought he was going to fall. And
were the Bears going to trade to Caleb Williams after they?
Oh, did they?
Took Michael Penix?
I'm sorry. The Bears traded up. Okay, I thought they were taking a quarterback. My apologies. I knew Caleb Williams went first, but I didn't even look at the team. But anyway,
it was Carolina's pick.
Ignore anything I just said there. I just knew the Bears were looking for a quarterback, and I saw that he got picked right in front of them. I didn't realize they even picked first. I didn't
thought
know
maybe they were trying to clean up. I thought maybe they were like, "Ooh, we can take Williams and Penix Jr."
Well, there was a guy. Right. Well, no, that wasn't it at all. And there I am, with my hot football take. But NFL draft going on.
We got asked to be a part of an NBA watch along with the Mavericks, and yeah. I hate to say it, but like I have put so much into the Texas Rangers over the course of the last 2 years now that, man, I have watched like maybe a half of basketball this year. Like the half on Sunday afternoon, the first half was like the first half of basketball I had watched all year. I did watch the third quarter. I got disgusted, turned it off, and then turned it back on, and the Mavericks had won the other night. So good on the little Mavs. I like that Doncic kid. I wish I had more time to put towards him.
He's definitely a special individual. Well, hey, let's get into our first topic of the day. It's kind of our around the league segment. You have some interesting statistics as it relates to the rival Houston Astros. And I don't think I could say it as good as you do. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you.
Well, okay. So, there's a time and place where it goes from being like a slow start to we're completely effed, right?
Sure.
Like, I saw yesterday that after a 7-18 start, it's now a 7-19 start, the best record of all time after a 7-18 start, you have to go back to 1902 for the Cleveland, maybe at that time, Spiders. That might have even been before Indians. 69-67. So not only is it only, 135 games or whatever, 136 games, but it's 2 games over 500. Now, one thing about baseball in today's time, 2 games over 500 may slip you in the back door of the playoffs. Now, in a 162 game series, the best record of all time after a 7-18 start is the Detroit Tigers of 2000, and they finished at 79-83.
Yep. Doesn't mean they couldn't come back and win the division with an under 500 record.
100%. Yeah, and it doesn't mean that the playoffs aren't a capability at around 500.
Yeah, I mean,
but at some point you have to start looking at it going from like this is a slow start to this is not a good team. And I feel like I had to do that last year with the Cardinals early on in the season, where I had to look at that and say, this isn't a slow start. This isn't a very good team. And the Astros, I mean, they just put Christian Javier on the IL. They did get Verlander back, but I mean, they don't have a lot rolling with him, Ronel Blanco, and that's about it. I mean, they're running JP France out there every 5th day. He's getting hit hard. Hunter Brown has been getting hit hard. That Aaron Gotti kid that they've been throwing out there has been getting hit pretty hard. So it's not just a slow start anymore. The Rangers are off to a slow start. The Astros are off to what looks to be a 65, 70, 75 win season, and not what looks like a slow start that they'll come around on. Well, like on the bright side, I mean, Altuve has been fantastic.
Sure.
They've had some other guys that are struggling, but Altuve, he's been historically good again this year. And, but their bullpen, that they handcrafted this bullpen that was going to be so good that as soon as you got through 6 innings, that it was going to be unhittable. And that just hadn't been the case. And, I'm not really trying to pile on because we don't talk about the Astros very often at all on this show. We try not to unless the Rangers are playing them. And I'm really not trying to pile on. But like this, I think we've got past the the point where this is a slow start, and to the point where, like I had to do last year with that St. Louis Cardinals team and put it together, that this is not a very good team. Their management is completely different. And I know everybody wanted Dusty Baker out the door last year, but, he's a steady hand that continues to get jobs done over and over and over and over again. And Joe Espada is not that guy. He hasn't done that. He's never done anything. And he reminds me a lot of Ollie Marmol, the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, and Chris Woodward, the type of manager that we saw here in Texas before Bruce Bochy. And you know what? I mean, whether you like it or not, I'll tell you this much. I love the idea of Bruce Bochy just going, yeah, it's Leclerc's turn to pitch. And him go out there and pitch instead of, drilling down all these numbers and trying to decide why they're going to go to this guy over this guy and end up going to the wrong dude every time. I like the idea of Bochy's like, look, these are the guys I got. I'm going to go to this guy. And at some point it's going to work.
Yeah, it's his turn.
Yeah. And I like that. I mean, call me old school or whatever. I mean, I try not to be. I like the expected batting averages. I like the idea that you're seeing, like, when guys are taking balls away, like Wyatt Langford did today in the first inning, right there off the bat, taking that ball away from right fielder. I can't think of his name, but anyways, I like those stats. I like the analytics. I like WAR. I like things that give you an idea of where you stand with the absolute best. So, I don't want to come off as old school, but man, I love it whenever, last year, we're a couple of days before the playoffs and Mike Maddox goes to Bruce Bochy and says, Spores is ready, man. Just throw him out there. And look at what he did in the playoffs. Look at what he was in the playoffs. I mean, he was an artist out there on the mound.
I guess my only add to the Astros scenario is just how long does this manager last? Like, does he even make it the season if the Astros really go from literally being a team that was a playoff Division won the division, really was probably the favorite. I guess the Orioles were favorites on paper, but the Astros were the team that been to the World Series over and over and over again. Like, they go from that, come back this year, and it's like, hey, it's the same team. Expect the same results, and then this. How long does the manager even make it through the season if it keeps going?
I think first of all, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt, considering 4 of his 5 starting pitchers are on the IL. And I know I'm not making excuses for him, but right, that is going to get him the benefit of the doubt, especially in his first season. Now, how long does it go? I don't know. I mean, because look, the Astros, they were 1 win away from the World Series last year, and they were ready to get rid of their manager, and every fan on Twitter was like, Dusty Baker is the reason why we're not in the World Series. And we found that out that that's not the truth. That wasn't the reason. Dusty Baker wasn't the reason. Dusty Baker didn't do anything that any other manager in baseball that was in his position would have done. You go to who you have and you try and ride with what you've got, so, last year they were ready to get rid of Dusty Baker. You find out that the grass is not always greener on the other side. But they like this guy. They're slowly turning on him quickly. I'm
telling you, they ain't too long, man. This is not a time with.
Yesterday I saw the Astros hey, we're 7-17 or whatever. We're only 5 games under 500, and I was like, well, you were 5 games under 500 back when you had the chance of being 12-12, but now you're at 17 losses, so you got to have 17 wins to get back to 500, and that's 10 games away from that. So, that's a long ways back. And
just
12
for
games is a long ways back.
everybody's peace of mind, the Bears didn't pick another quarterback. They actually got a receiver. So
well, it makes sense to take a quarterback with the first one and then take a receiver. Maybe those guys will become. Was it the LSU kid?
Good thing I don't cover football.
Because that kid from LSU.
I make enough blunders here on a baseball show that I actually cover. No, they got Caleb Williams. I think that was the consensus number one pick, and then
You said they took a receiver with their second one.
Oh yeah, Rome Odunze from Washington. The LSU guy, Neighbors, he went up at 6th.
Oh, he was already gone. Okay. Well, I'm not watching because I'm talking about baseball.
Right. Well, so you mentioned Josh Spores earlier. He got activated. If I'm not so, Josh Spores will be activated, and then that means that somebody has to go down. That somebody is
Grant Williams.
Grant Anderson.
Grant Williams is a basketball player. Grant Anderson is the relief pitcher that went down today after being called up yesterday to take Austin Pruitt's spot after Austin Pruitt was put on the 15-day IL for a meniscus injury.
Did they say what?
Correct? That was the official diagnosis, was a meniscus injury. I don't know. Does that have anything to do with not getting outs?
Is it like a meniscus tear, a strain?
It just said a meniscus injury.
Nice.
So, that makes you really think that it was really hoping Grant Anderson could come in and get 3 outs at some point without allowing 5.
Right.
So, and he did that, and he got his job done last night, getting the last 3 outs or 2 nights ago, getting the last 3 outs in the win of that series. And then yesterday we saw Spores back. Spores was back. He had a really quick, tidy little 8th inning, didn't he?
Well, I mean,
8th inning, 9th inning. I think he threw in the 9th inning because they got 6 from Heaney, 2 from Cole Winn, and then so the 9th inning was Spores, and he had a really tidy 9th inning.
Just in case for my boy John who follows the show, our boy McCarthy, JJ McCarthy goes number 10 to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, bust.
Yep. It's going to be everything Minnesota ever hoped for from a quarterback. You're getting a good one, guys. And I know my friend Drew checks in on the show every now and then. He's a Minnesota Vikings fan. You're welcome, brother. Anyway, let's is there any other Rangers news?
What we got, Jared Walsh cleared waivers. He did not accept an assignment back to Round Rock, and he elected free agency. So he was on a minor league deal here. If he wanted to stay here, he'd continue a minor league deal, but with the minor league pay instead of the major league pay. If he wanted to be back here, but I don't think he really does. I mean, the writing is on the wall post Nate Lowe being back, and he didn't hit right-handers well enough to say Nate Lowe shouldn't be in the lineup, and he didn't hit well enough to say that Wyatt Langford shouldn't be in the lineup. Jared Walsh, thanks for a couple of weeks, but Nate Lowe couldn't get back fast enough there at the end. Started the season out good enough, kept us above water until guys started getting healthy. So, when at the end of things, he'll get a ring.
That's what I like to hear. Well, before we move on to box score and preview for the weekend, you mentioned earlier, we're not panicking. And we're not. I mean, we're Rangers fans. Like, there's no, why panic? Like, we're
26 games in.
We're gonna be here anyway. We're not going nowhere. Like, the Rangers have if the bottom falls out and all hell breaks loose, and we have a really hard season, like, we're still gonna be here, and we're still gonna be Rangers fans, and we're gonna still cover it. So, there's really no reason to panic ever, as far as we're concerned. But
just baseball.
I mean, it's just baseball, and I mean, you're never going to win everything all the time. So
we just got really, really lucky that last year, in the first year of us like doing it on a full-time basis, that the Rangers did win. There were a bunch of podcasts that they were celebrating just the fact that they finally won one after doing so many years. I mean, because there's some hard years in Texas. Bullman Downs, our buddy that I go and watch baseball with. Well, the Bullman, he's been a Texas Rangers fan since '72.
That's
I mean, he was a junior Ranger in the '70s, man. I mean, so he has seen some bad teams and some bad times and some fun times and some good times, but for the most part, I mean, last year for him, that was a culmination of all those hard summers of sitting in the bleachers at Arlington Stadium and it being 110 at the ballpark and them trying to cut off the breeze because it was blowing balls out of the ballpark, so it was even hotter in the yard, to this brand new ballpark that's, beautifully indoors. And yeah, I mean, like, so this is all like, I mean, for a guy that's been a fan since he was a 10-year-old junior Ranger, last year, means so much. And for us, it was just, we kind of got spoiled with it, like being like our first year, like covering the Rangers and it being like the whole thing.
Yeah.
All the way to the last day of the season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were very fortunate that, we had our streak, like first place and all that. And we knew it was eventually going to end. We just hoped.
Well, and the Rangers still have the most wins in the division. So,
right.
We can make things up to make us feel better about the Rangers. And then it's not. I mean, again, like we talked about.
Then you have to make them up. I mean, there's still so much of the season left. And just because it didn't come easy last year, for one.
No.
For two, like, do you really want it to come easy? That's the question I really want to ask, because last year, all I wanted all year long, I was like, give us the hardest teams. Let us beat everybody. Let us take every excuse away from the haters, especially the Astros fans and the East Coast bias and all that. And like let's just beat all the best people. And
we did it in their barn, and the Rangers did it in their barn. And, I mean, the one great thing about the Rangers off to a slow start is nobody's taken off from them in the division. They could be 4 or 5 games behind a Mariners team that, isn't playing 500 baseball too. So, I mean, it's going to even out in the season. It's a long season, 162 games. I mean, we haven't even played May 1st yet.
Yep.
I mean, they're 26 games in now. I mean, that's a month's worth of baseball. We've still got 5 more of these months. And, I mean, they only get more and more intense and more exciting as we go through them, because we're going to be going in. It's going to be another push. There's no reason to believe that Seattle's just going to take off from Texas and that Texas is going to be so far out of things when they start to really get healthy that they can't make that push, and that they're not going to. I mean, at some point they're going to start hitting a little bit more than they have been so far. And that's going to happen. We've been seeing the writing on the wall. I mean, like in yesterday's game, the Rangers had 6 outs that were hit over 100 miles an hour. I mean, Seager had a line out at 107 that all went to the wall. A little more launch angle there. Same thing with Josh Smith. Same thing. I mean, Adalis Garcia hit a 110-mile-an-hour ground ball that turned into 2 outs. I mean, just little things like that aren't going their way. They're going to start going their way, and the Rangers are going to hit, and it's going to happen. And, I'm not too terribly worried about it. And, I mean, once we get through here with Seattle, I mean, it's on with Cincinnati, and you got a young Cincinnati team that's going through a little bit of a tough stretch these last couple of games. So, a lot of fun young players for that Reds team. So, lots to look forward to as Ranger fans, and lots more games here with the division. So, lots of time left, lots of season left. It's not even May 1st yet.
Right. So, moral of the story, no reason to panic. A lot of baseball left to be played, and we're not even hardly out of first place. So, Real quick, before we move on and go into the box score and talk about that upcoming series against Cincinnati, which is going to be exciting with a lot of exciting players on that team. Let me first tell you about our exclusive content down on the farm with the boys. We cover all things Rangers minor league. You can go check that out on our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
Or you can go onto our Spotify page and subscribe there. If you want to subscribe on the CTH network at Chilltown Hoops, you can also subscribe there. And guess what? You will have the opportunity, if you do the right package, to jump on this show with us and join us on the podcast and talk some ball with the boys. So go check that out. That helps you make us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers, organization-wide. Going to be fun talking about what's going on at the minor league level. A lot of exciting things going on, and you're going to get to hear us talk about it. So let's jump in.
Fabian, huh?
Yeah. I mean, what is he batting? 391?
390 something. Yeah, a couple of home runs, 20 RBIs. I mean, this is AAA level too. This isn't a guy that was on anybody's radar, but he's a utility guy that can. He's got a little pop in the bat.
Does he have what it takes to convince the Rangers to put him on that 40-man roster?
Man, something's going to have to happen right now.
Right.
Speaking of guys on the 40-man roster, we had our first major league career hit yesterday for one of the guys that we would talk about primarily on the Down on the Farm show, but Davis Wenzel.
Yes.
First career major league hit, and it was a pinch hit in a big spot where they had used him to hit against a lefty for Evan Carter and got a big hit and kept the inning alive. So good for Davis Wenzel on his first career hit there. Get that in before we start on this thing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, why not? Let's just go ahead and segue right into the offense with, and how the Rangers did. I mean, they got on base. It wasn't like they didn't get on base, and they had more hits than Seattle. And it feels like it's coming down to the same thing. Just
runners in scoring position and 2 out hits, man. Yeah, and 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They just had they had a couple of 2 out RBIs, but one of them was the 2 out home run from Nate Lowe, and then they had one more late in the game with Marcus Semien. Seager's kind of I think he's 0 for his last 16, something like that. This thing kind of goes as Seager goes. And it's not that he's not hitting the ball well. I'm not worried about it, but they got to start falling in at some point. But at the same time, I think the power is going to start showing up, and I wouldn't be shocked if it happens over the weekend.
Well, we want to see it. I mean, we know Seager's going to eventually catch some
fire. I agree. And
honestly, if anything, when that happens, it's gonna ignite the entire thing, because it's kind of weird how that works. But he does seem to be kind of we've seen Semien get hot. We're seeing Adolis Garcia get hot. But something about Seager, I think it has more to do with how he affects the other team, and how they pitch to the rest of the lineup. When he's hot, he becomes somebody that the other team is just frightened.
I agree.
To do anything with. And so, again, no one else, I don't think, gets that kind of respect from other teams in this lineup. So,
and I think today was a little bit of we talk about it, and I know you don't love it, but a little bit of bad luck. There was a little bit of bad luck today because they had Castillo a couple of times. One of those Seager line drives didn't carry. Luckily, Nate Lowe right behind him did. It carried a little bit better into the bullpen. But overall, man, hard hit balls just kind of right at people. I know that I know that we talk about ground balls, and those are probably getting ate up at the big league level. But you hit them hard, you want to get them through. But it didn't happen a lot, and a lot of hard hit balls right at people, and uh, you know, I'm not saying that it could have changed things, but you've got to get Josh Smith home from third with 1 out, less than 2 outs there in the second inning. That a 1 out triple, you've got to get that run across, and for Duran and Langford to not be able to get him home from there, that was rough. You really needed that, especially because Castillo looked shaky the first handful of innings. Like the first 3 innings, he looked out like you could get to him at any point, but he calmed down there in the 4th and 5th, and kind of what ended up getting them 6, right? The Rangers, I think they just didn't take advantage of opportunities they had against Castillo. They kind of had him on the ropes a couple of times, and they just didn't. They didn't capitalize as much as they should have, and their 2 runs against him ended up being solo home runs instead of kind of putting that inning together. They could have, got him out of the ball game early, and probably that 3rd inning, right? I think they should have put up some runs, and they just didn't. It didn't happen, and he was able to work through it and get himself into a position to where he gave him a quality start, got the win, and that's a couple of pretty decent starts in a row from Castillo that could have been really shaky for him, but he worked around some problems, and he was pretty good. And I think the difference in the game, Heaney made mistakes, but the guys he made mistakes to are guys that, it chaps your ass that those are the guys that beat, or that Urias is the guy that beat you, a guy hitting a $164. How is that the guy that beat you? And I'm pretty sure it was a 2-strike count that he got beat in. That one just can't happen. The Urias home run
hit the Rangers well.
Huh?
Ty France always seems to have good games.
Yeah, you can live with the Ty France home run.
Right.
You can live with that. Not a huge fan of, putting guys on in front of the home runs. If those are 2 solo shots, you win the ball game.
Right.
But, at the end of the day, he just, the mistakes that he made, you can't make that mistake to Urias because, he didn't even look competitive in any of his other at-bats today. It was just that one, and Langford going back on it, you knew it was going out of the park because he was running out of room before he turned around. So, but overall, I thought today was Heaney's best start by far this season. He only threw, I think he could have probably given them another inning if they needed it. He was at like 79 pitches through 6 innings. He had 7 strikeouts too. No walks. He was good. It just wasn't. He made 2 mistakes that he couldn't make, and really just one that he couldn't make. He made a pretty good pitch after he gave up the hit to let's see here, to Moore there in the 4th inning or whatever that was, 5th inning where he gave up 2 runs there. He made a pretty good pitch to Garver to get him to ground out to keep the runner at second base there. And then just not a very good pitch to Urias, and, never got up or whatever the case was. But that was the difference in the game, just that pitch to Urias. You can't let that guy beat you. Yeah. But look at how many times have we said that this year between Shea Langoliers and Travis d'Arnaud and
bottom of the order guys, man. Bottom of the
guys that you need to get out and that you're supposed to be getting out. And that just, it can't happen. And guys that aren't hitting the ball at all, those can't be the guys that kill you.
Right. Well, I think that does kind of bring up a little bit of a moral of the story for the early season. One kind of a high note for the Rangers, Josh Smith continues to hit. And honestly, for a little bit of pop, he got his first home run, a 6th double, 12th run batted in. He's been really a bright, one of the few bright spots in this offense early on. And so you gotta tip your cap there, and hopefully it's something that the Rangers can leverage and take advantage of this year. because he's very versatile and someone that can do a lot of things. He can get on base, he can run. He's shown that he's got a little bit of power. Can hit both sides. Can hit the ball pretty much to each side of the field. He can lay down a bunt. So really nice to see that come around. Obviously, we saw Tavares got the day off today, but you can't pile on Tavares because Evan Carter's hitting 200, Tavares hitting 200, Duran hitting 200. So it's offense is struggling. You want to see Seager come around. You kind of get the vibe or the feeling that once Seager comes around, it's going to be like a tidal wave, or at least that's what you're hoping. As far as the pitching goes, let's talk real quick. This is another bright spot. Cole Winn has been like, who is this guy since he got to the big leagues? No, they're not big leverage. Today was kind of a leverage situation because
that was a keep you in it. That was a 1-run ball game most of the time when he pitched. So, or a 2-run ball game or whatever. He was really good. He was Cole Winn's strikeout machine today. 4 strikeouts in the 2 innings. And, he had guys fooled throwing the ball right down the middle of the plate. He was good. I thought that was his best outing of the season so far, and all of them have been pretty decent.
Yeah, he's
if he's going to throw like that, he ain't going back to the minor leagues anytime soon.
No. And then now with today, he's thrown 8 innings and 10 strikeouts. So that's really good. We knew he could strike guys out. I think the Cole Winn thing was the wild pitches and the hit batters and the meltdown.
Well, and it was the not being able to stay consistent for more than 1 inning too. I think that was one of the biggest things that killed him whenever he was a starting pitcher in the minor leagues, was he wasn't staying consistent through more than 1 or 2 innings. And you'd get a good inning and you'd be like, all right, man, Cole Winn looks good tonight. And then you check back and it was like 14-3. And you're like, what the hell happened? And it was just Cole Winn just kind of, I don't know. Not being able to stay consistent. Maybe he couldn't keep the same delivery. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but whatever it is, right now it looks like they're getting some success from him. So run with it while you can run with it. And Spores was really good today too. What did he throw? 9 pitches, 6 strikes, got in and out of there. Hard ground ball, weak ground ball. I don't know. Was a strikeout the last one? No, just a little pop out to Tavares, I think. So overall, man, the pitching was really good today. I thought Heaney, like I said, I thought this was Heaney's best start. He just made one mistake that he really couldn't make. but other than that, just a handful of hits for the Mariners, just able to make sure they counted. Hit home run. All 4 of those score. 1 other hit besides that. I thought Langford made a really, really nice play in the outfield too in the first inning against.
That kind of over the shoulder kind of catch that he made.
I think I saw that had like a 970 expected batting average or something like that.
Well, when they catch it, that's. Anyways, hey.
Overall, man. It was a little bit of a tough luck break, or a tough. Not too terribly tough, but you'd like to have won that series and get 2 or 3 from the Mariners while you're both kind of trying to figure out who's front running at the moment. But you got Cincinnati coming to town over the weekend. There's a bunch of fun young players on the Cincinnati Reds, and Ellie De La Cruz may be the most fun of them all. And now the Rangers. They've got Friday at 7:05, and it's just Bally Sports. It's extra with the Mavericks being on Bally Sports that night. We've got Grant Ashcraft, 3-1 with a 5.25 ERA versus Nathan Eovaldi, 1-2, 3.30 ERA on Friday night. And then Saturday, we've got a day game, a 3:05 national broadcast on Fox. The Reds are sending youngster Hunter Green to the hill. 0-2, 4.5 ERA, but 36 strikeouts already this season.
It's got some fire.
And the Rangers are sending Michael Lorenzen to the hill, and so far this year, 2-0, 2.45 ERA, 11 Ks in 11 innings. So should be a fun one Saturday afternoon on Fox, and then Sunday they'll wrap that thing up with a 1:35 on Bally Sports, and the Rangers are going to send Dane Dunning, and the Reds are going to send Andrew Abbott. He's 1-2 with a 2.6 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. So he's not a ton of base runners given up from Abbott. A little bit sad that the Rangers aren't catching Nick Lodolo, but kind of like at the same time, not a little bit sad that they're not catching Nick Lodolo, especially with the trouble he gives left-handers. So
Rangers struggle with lefties. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so should be a fun weekend of games with the Cincinnati Reds, and we'll be back Monday to talk all about them.
Well, real quick, let me Ellie De La Cruz. Like, let me just give you a couple quick stat lines on this kid this year, because we know he hits the 115 mile an hour exit velo balls. I mean, the guy's just absolutely annihilates the baseball. But this year so far in 25 games, 5 doubles, one triple, 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in, 23 runs scored in 25 games, and 15 stolen bases. So he's doing like every single thing. But he's slashing a 306 with a 416 on base, which 15 walks, man. So like he's doing everything, and then he's also slugging at 635. I mean, really and truly, I knew he was good, but like what he's doing right now, we're talking like next level, like better than I thought.
And I think that's kind of where he's going. That's where he's heading in this game. Is that next level? He's got real big time talent. He has superstar written all over him, and there's going to be a bunch of guys in the National League looking up at him at the shortstop position. And that may even be including like Lindor. Guys like Lindor, in the National League, going to have to watch him play baseball at the All-Star game starting this year.
Well, and look up to him, no pun intended, maybe pun intended, because he is 6'5".
Yeah. There's some big shortstops right now. We used to think that there were the big shortstops with A-Rod and Tejada.
Listen, you could bring him in as your closer. Back in the day, he was probably the shortstop and the closer, because he's got a cannon.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
Like laser beam.
And that's the big trend over there in the National League is these young guys, him, O'Neill Cruz, Mason Wynn. They all have big, giant arms. They all are humming it back across the diamond at 95 to 97, 99 mile an hour.
Yep. Well, man, it has been a blast.
Fun though. They got a bunch of good. The Spencer Steer, Ellie De La Cruz. They got the young guys like we talked about. We'll see Ashcraft, and too bad we're not seeing Lodolo. Like, too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad. Like, I mean, I know he's a good. He played for TCU and kind of local or whatever, but he can go pitch against somebody else, and the Rangers will miss him and go right into that Washington series. Not caring about that at all.
Not one bit. Well, hey, let's call it a day, man. Today was fun. It's gonna
call it a week, huh?
Yeah, call it a week. It's gonna be a fun series too. So be sure to support the Rangers. Get out to the ball yard over the weekend. Get a ticket. Get a hot dog. Get some swag. Get some gear. And support this team, man, because they're here to stay. So don't forget to check us out on social media, TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
Where you can subscribe to our exclusive content. Down on the Farm with the Boys, we cover all things Rangers, minor league. Don't forget to check us out right here on the CTH network, also known at Chilltown Hoops on YouTube. So you can check us out, look at our pretty faces on video as well. And thank you for subscribing or following us on your favorite podcasting platform or here on YouTube. for the 300-pound manimal, for the little manimal who's over there having dinner. This is your boy Kev. We are Texas Rangers with the boys. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Signing out.